So electric motorcycles, the way of the future and all, they got a problem. They don't go Braap. I'll do that one more time. They don't go Braap. Why is that a problem? Well, it's not everywhere. I mean, China, for example, they got all kinds of electric motorcycles, electric scooters. In a crowded city like Shanghai, no exhaust note is probably seen as a positive thing, right? Same for European cities. I mean, they're really packed in there. But in the United States, especially where I live, down in Texas, motorcycles are a toy rather than a necessity. As much as people don't want to admit it. Yeah, I know some people commute, but for the most part, it's secondary to your car, especially in Texas. And because of that, people want their bikes to be evocative in the way they look and in the way they sound. The sound of a big American V-twin is inseparable from cruiser culture. And the scream of a high-revving Japanese or European sport bike, I mean, that's what brought a lot of people into motorcycles in the first place. I mean, I know I like it. Think about it. Before you could form words, much less whole sentences, you could make that motorcycle noise. There are whole videos dedicated to motorcycle sounds, motorcycle noises. I mean, if you get on TikTok, there's an entire genre of people cold starting motorcycles. People really have a thing for kickstarting old panheads. I don't know what that's all about, but I've seen tons of videos. It's definitely in my algorithm. Okay, so I've scientifically and indisputably proved that this is a problem. We can't just hang on to the sound of internal combustion engines forever just because we like them, right? I mean, steam engines for vehicles had what is in my mind a really cool sound, but we all know what happened to those. They went the way of the dodo. So no matter how much we don't want it to happen, internal combustion engines for motorcycles will most likely disappear in our lifetime. Maybe not disappear, but they're not going to be mass produced like they are now. What we're left with is the sound of electric engines. A lot of people try to act like the sound that electric motors make, or electric cars, electric motorcycles, is an acceptable replacement for internal combustion engines, but we all know it's not. Currently, the sound of most electric vehicles is the faint whine of the electric motor and maybe the whir of the reduction gears. Okay, I'm obviously not the first person on Earth to think about the sounds, or rather lack of sounds, that electric vehicles make. And companies are working on the issue today, but from what I've seen, they've mostly come up with electronically produced whirring sounds that remind me of older video games. I've seen the TED Talks. I watched the Hans Zimmer video where he works with BMW to make a sound for their electric vehicles. They just don't do it for me. If we're honest, they're coming out of a speaker, which means they're fabricated and they're fake. It's like watching a pre-recorded football game. It doesn't hit the same. So capturing a market with sound may not even be possible when it comes to fast, cool motorcycles as we know them today, which means styling is going to be key. Research has shown that starting with my generation, younger generations are not riding as much as previous generations. The root cause for this pattern is probably way too complex for anyone to fully understand. But either way, motorcycles aren't capturing the imagination of younger people like they used to. Which is why I think companies need to be much more bold in their designs for electric motorcycles if they want to capture the imagination. Don't get me wrong, there are some beautiful electric bikes out there already, but their designs are not outside the box or bold. I understand that it's a risk versus reward type of thing. You can't just revamp your entire lineup to look like something out of an anime or a Hot Wheels collection or Micro Machines. Do kids even play with Micro Machines anymore? Probably not. That's like a 30-year-old design. But fortune favors the bold, I say. The reason we like the look of past and current motorcycle designs is that they were born out of practicality and essentially morphed into an art form of their own. Specific individual parts of gas-powered motorcycles are undeniably aesthetically pleasing. Let's break it down. Cylinders. For most motorcycles, up until fairings became popular, cylinders were kind of a central part of the motorcycle, literally physically central. And they stood out with their cooling fins, usually a chromed finish, their different configurations. I mean, Harley-Davidson's image is so wrapped up in big V twin cylinders that they basically ignored all other engine configurations for the most part. The look of cooling fins that came from air-cooled cylinders has even been mimicked on liquid-cooled bikes. Next is clutch covers, generator covers, stator covers, other round covers that you'll see on the side of motorcycle motors and transmissions. They're so integral to the design that on modern bikes that are mostly covered with fairings, you'll see that they're left naked, seemingly on purpose. For example, if you look at the Ducati Panigale V4, for that matter, most modern sport bikes choose to keep their clutch cover naked nowadays. Besides sport bikes, almost all other bikes have their entire motor exposed and often have company badges either cast or machined into the clutch covers. And customized clutch covers are a cottage industry in themselves. Pipes are another design element that will be completely lost with electric motorcycles. And if clutch covers are a cottage industry in themselves, and pipes are an even bigger deal to motorcycle owners. Just go look at used motorcycles on the internet. If you get on Cycle Trader, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, I'd say, and this is just a guess, better than 60% of them have custom pipes installed. Then we have the gas tank, which is obviously going to be obsolete when it comes to motorcycles. And it was often the only brightly painted part of a motorcycle and was usually the backdrop for the company badge. But I don't think that'll matter too much because that space is going to be taken up by either storage or battery space with electric motorcycles. And then when it comes to the clutch cover and other round design elements on the side of the motorcycle, they're going to be replaced by the electric motors, maybe gear reduction, housing, and other elements of the bike that are there by necessity rather than just an embellishment. The cylinders, however, have been replaced with batteries, which thus far have failed to impress me. I mean, look at the Harley LiveWire, what do you call it? The Harley LiveWire Delmar? It's gonna be a no for me, dog. Since much of these gas-related design elements are gonna be gone, and we're left with batteries, hopefully some out-of-the-box, bold new designs will be coming out in the future using bodywork, maybe some unforeseen elements or unforeseen components. And I have to believe that this is going to happen. Otherwise, we're going to be left with just boring electric scooters and cars that look like the Nissan Leaf. That's a future I just can't live with. But that's just one man's opinion. What do you think? If you're any kind of motorhead, you're gonna have an opinion on this. Let me know in the comments. Oh, and if you could please subscribe. I'm trying to get paid, fool. Till next time, goodbye. Actually, wait, before I stop, let me just tack on this little addendum. I know that people are of the opinion nowadays that electric motorcycle companies are failing because electric bikes currently don't have enough range, and a lot of these startups tend to exaggerate the range and other engineering issues like that. But that's exactly what it is. It's just an engineering issue, and these things will be fixed in the future. It's just a matter of time. If you look at the trajectory right now, I mean, if you looked at battery powered cars even 5 or 6 years ago, the range was nowhere near where it is now. So it's just an engineering issue that's going to be fixed over time. But they're still going to have to figure out a way to capture people's imaginations, the younger generations, and range alone is not going to do it because you can just have an electric car with the range. And I don't think the startups are going to accomplish this either. I think it's most likely going to be established makers, maybe 1 or 2 startups. You never know. But the big makers right now are going to have to figure something out. And it remains to be seen whether they'll do that or not. Now, when it comes to wild designs, after I made this recording, I just typed in wild electric motorcycle designs in Google. And I did find this motorcycle here, which I would say fits the bill for wild design. Wild, yes. Practical, well, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to be riding a motorcycle in that stance. Not for more than maybe 20 minutes. It's definitely wild, but of course, it's a smaller startup, and this design isn't super practical, but I figured I'd throw it in there anyways. So, for real this time, until next time, goodbye.